I just had some real fun with ChatGPT and massaging the questions I was asking, the prompt training I was doing with the transcript of a podcast episode to get a summary of the episode, possible episode notes, and a really good title that I'm super happy with. And it's not how you're thinking. So let's take a look and see how I did this. Okay, so I started out as you would with the transcript here. And I said, hey, please leave the main sections of the text, no details, just heading. I do this kind of prompt because I don't like to tell it it's a podcast episode because then it gets into like 1980s television, like infomercial BS. And I don't like how it does that. If I say this is a podcast episode, write the podcast summary, then or the podcast episode summary, then what ends up happening inevitably is that it's this horrible like, hey, let's dive into this thing and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just the most awful writing known to man, the most awful writing. So I don't do that. What I do instead is I dig into like having it take the text, the transcription, and list out the details. And then let me show you how I walk it through that. This isn't even the best part yet. This is stuff I've been doing for a while and that I've showed you before. But so I have it list out the sections. And now what I'm looking for is the heart of the episode. Not just because just like the episode itself is not just a summary, it has a thread, it has a storyline. There's the heart of it. And so I'm trying to get to the heart of what is the main part. Because in this list, all of these points look like they're equal, but we all know that the introduction is not equal to the rest of the bits, right? Okay. Oh, that works. Let's do that. So we know that they're not all equal. The introduction is quite small. The number 10, the conclusion is quite small, and there's the heart of it does not come out. So now let's get to the heart of the episode. So I said, if you had to summarize the main point of the text in it should be in one sentence, but I said in what sentence? What would it be? It said the main point of the text is that small business owners must actively engage with accurate bookkeeping to avoid costly errors, as demonstrated by a recent client case where inadequate bookkeeping practices by an accounting firm led to significant financial issues that could require substantial corrections. It's quite a mouthful, but it is the heart of the episode. That is correct. I just listened and edited the episode, and I can affirm, yes, that is accurate. So then I'm looking for a title. Specifically right now, I'm at the point of the production phase where I need a title so I can render the audio file and do the rest of the stuff, because you really want to put metadata into your audio file. And it says, so I said title less than 5 words, no punctuation, because I hate that it does those academic titles with 3 or 4 words, colon, semicolon, I always forget which is which, and the other one, I think it's colon. Anyway, so it says the importance of accurate bookkeeping. Blah, crap. The first one is always terrible. So I said, give me 5 options. 5 options. Essential bookkeeping practices, 1. 2. Accurate bookkeeping matters, 3. Bookkeeping for business success, 4. Fixing bookkeeping mistakes, and 5. Small business bookkeeping essentials. None of that really has the heart of the frustration and the annoyance of bookkeeping being done incorrectly. So then I said, one of the titles I was kind of writing on my notes to the side while I was editing, I said, how about when things go wrong? And I'd even say how about, because I don't need to, because you just throw out ideas and Chatty replies. So I said, when things go wrong. And here are 5 more titles that it gave me that are so much better. When bookkeeping goes wrong, number 2, fixing financial errors, number 3, recovering from bookkeeping mistakes, number 4, correcting accounting missteps, and number 5, troubleshooting bookkeeping issues. And then I said, is the main problem he discusses in the bookkeeping error, or the bookkeeping is the main problem he discussed in the bookkeeping in the episode? I made a mistake again. The bookkeeping error, the bookkeeper protecting themselves, or something else, because I still don't think that they're better. The titles are better, but it still doesn't get to the heart of the episode. And then Chatty, I'm not going to read this whole paragraph. You can read it here if you want to pause. Basically says it's about the incorrect bookkeeping that is allowed to happen, that the owner allows to happen. And so I said, okay, how do we summarize that into a 5-word title? And it said, engaging in accurate bookkeeping matters. Factually true, still doesn't have the heart of the episode. So I said, engaging? And it said, yeah, engaging's not good. So here are the 5 that come after it. Active involvement in bookkeeping matters. Owners must ensure accurate bookkeeping, oversight, blah, blah, blah. It's 5 more that are better, but we're still not there yet. So I said, what would business owners search for to find this info? Because here's the thing. You want the episode to be an answer to a question that somebody's Googling or somebody's searching in their podcast app. You want it to be, especially in practical business podcast episodes like this one, you want it to be a search answer. Even if it's not an answer as the title, you want it to answer something that somebody's looking for, in this case, business owners. And it came up with 10. I'll just leave them on the screen if you want to pause and take a look at them. But these are much closer to what we need. It has the heart of most of these have the heart of the message, and they sound like answers to a business owner's search when there's a problem with their bookkeeping, right? So I actually landed on, can you guess? Wait, before I give you the answer, can you guess the number down below? Quick pause and write the number of the one you think I did. And while you're doing that, I'm going to screenshot it and put it down below so that when people look at the comments, they can see which ones everybody thought. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my answer. It was signs of bad bookkeeping. Because I think if somebody's having a problem with their bookkeeping and they go searching in YouTube, which is, this podcast is also in YouTube, as well as, and by the way, the name of the podcast is the Not Boring Small Business Bookkeeping and Accounting Podcast. And yes, Paul has given me permission to share the behind the scenes stuff like this working on his episode. Thank you, Paul, for that. Okay, so signs of bad bookkeeping, because it has the heart of the problem. If a business owner is having a problem with their books, maybe they're being audited by the IRS or something like that, or they've lost their bookkeeper and they can't quite figure out what's happening, or like Paul mentioned, maybe their accounting firm is doing their bookkeeping and there's something going wrong there that they noticed. All of those things, there's probably going to be bad bookkeeping or problem with bookkeeping or something like that. So that's why I leaned in that way. And signs of bad bookkeeping leans towards what I think Paul is giving in this episode, which are things that you could notice that could lead you to believe, I need to do this better. We need to do this better. I need to keep an eye on this better. And Paul definitely stresses that the business owners need to have more of a hands-off, as he said in the notes that I wrote, they need to be part of the process. There's far too much, here you do this and I'll never check it kind of stuff happening. So I think signs of bad bookkeeping is probably the one that I will go with for this, at least while I render the audio file. But I think that's one I'm looking at them again. See, they're all good in different ways, but I think that has mostly the heart of the episode there. So the reason why I wanted to walk you through this is that I went from having it outline the main points of the episode, and then trying to come to the main point. And then, of course, I already listened to the episode, so be familiar with the episode. Don't just throw an episode in and take whatever Chatty gives you, because it's not human. It's not going to do that. You have to fact check everything. You have to make sure that it does it well. You are responsible. Consider it an intern. You are overseeing it. So I got the main information and it wasn't quite right. Then I tried to get some titles out of it. Not quite right. I kept asking questions, kept throwing out ideas from my own notes, and then we honed in on it. And then I went between 2 ideas. Is it this or is it this? And then we got more details. We got more another title, and then I questioned some of the vocabulary, and then we got closer, and then I asked it more and we got closer. So it's still a lot of prompt chaining. And yes, I understand that doing something like this probably took me about half an hour for one single title, but again, when people are searching for things, what they find should be your episode. And to find that, part of that is going to be the metadata that not only goes into the title in podcast apps, but the title in when people listen in cars and when they listen on YouTube Living Room. That metadata is important enough to spend a half hour or an hour on. So you really want to hone in on that and make sure that not only it answers a question that somebody's asking, but that it is searchable and that it matches. Because if it doesn't match, not only will they not come back and listen to other things, but they won't listen the whole way through. It'll mess up the algorithm, or they'll never recommend it. I mean, there's so many repercussions for misrepresenting, using titles or keywords that are trending or that are SEO important, but that don't match what you're actually putting out into the world. So you want to be accurate, and you want to be representative, and you want to answer things that people are saying. So that is my happy moment with ChatGPT this morning. What are you using it for lately? And what are different tweaks and different nuances that you're doing that you weren't doing a few months ago with it? I want to know. Leave some messages down below. I'll stop sharing my screen since it's the same screen. Leave some messages down below. I'd love to follow you with what you're doing with your ChatGPT experience, whether it be in podcast marketing like I am in this one, or in any other way. I've done videos on cooking with ChatGPT, on using it as a in between the therapy sessions anxiety coach, and there's a few more that I've got in me that I have to do eventually. But yeah, I'd love to know what you're doing. Also, you can go to Chatty and me, ChattyandMe.substack.com to follow the newsletter companion to this podcast episode YouTube video thing. This video here has a companion, and it is that newsletter, chattyandme.substack.com. All right, back to work. Bye.